Whoa, what a week. What a week. What a week it's been. It is Friday. It has been a long, interesting week. The world of geopolitics, global markets, Nigeria, US, China. There's a power struggle going on right now. Welcome. Let's analyze and let's dissect. It isn't so much a power struggle um, with Nigeria. It's just that Nigeria is in the middle of this power struggle with the United States and China. So, talking about China, they've officially come out in opposition of what they called US interference in Nigerian internal affairs. So, they officially came out and publicly opposed the United States. And I'm going to read to you what the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning told reporters in Beijing this week. It was translated and posted on X by on X, the official account of the Chinese embassy in Lagos. So the Chinese Foreign Ministry said this: as a comprehensive strategic partner of Nigeria, which they are, and we're going to chew on that a little bit. As a comprehensive strategic partner of Nigeria, China firmly supports the Nigerian government in leading its people on a development path that fits Nigeria's national realities. Tell me something I don't know. We oppose any country's interference in other countries' internal affairs under the pretext of religion and human rights. This is the same China that's currently supporting Russia in its ongoing conflict with Ukraine. We oppose the wanton threat of sanction and use of force. That's directly from the Chinese foreign ministry. So my question to you guys, do you think that the United States should be involved in Nigeria's internal issues? Post in the comment section. Do you think the US is meddling in Nigeria's internal affairs? Let's hear from you. Should Nigeria be free? Obviously, Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Nigeria can do whatever Nigeria wants to do. Nigeria can align with whomever it feels is a good partner. Nigeria can do that. Whether it's aligning with China, whether it's aligning with the US, NATO, Nigeria is free to do that. I think whoever offers the best economic deal, Nigeria is free to align with whoever does that. They are in alignment, and that's what makes it a little bit sensitive for Nigeria right now, because they are in alignment with both the United States and China in one way or another. And we'll get to that. So drop your thoughts in. What do you think about the comments? What do you think about Chinese comments? Do you think it's warranted for China to come out officially and publicly oppose the United States, or what they think it's the US's interference in China? Do you think it's in their right? It is a free world, they can do whatever they want. And we're going to dive deep. into Chinese interest in Nigeria. But first of all, before we get started, let us reverse the logic. They teach you this in the military. If you've ever served in the US Army, very fortunate to have done that. Received a honorable discharge, proud veteran of the US Army. So this is what they teach you in the US Army, US military as a whole, reversing the logic. What does that mean? That means put aside all the noise. Put aside all the noise and focus on what's working. Whether some people call it the threat, some people are calling it threat. They're thinking Donald Trump is threatening the United States, or the United States is threatening Nigeria. I don't see it that way. But let's forget about the noise for a second and focus on what is actually working. What is working is the world is talking about this matter. I will probably say I don't remember the last time Nigeria has received this kind of publicity. I don't remember. But it's hot. It's been a topic all week long. Trump's so-called threat or so. As a matter of fact, right now, the US is walking through the US AFRICOM, that's the United States Africa Command. And together right now, they are on the table. So this is what I mean by reversing the logic. Means forget about all the noise. What is actually working right now is Nigeria and the US military are sitting down, formulating a plan to deal with this issue of insecurity that I think every Nigerian out there wants to be wiped out. There shouldn't be. And if there is, shame on them. Anyone that's in support of the current insecurity that's happening in Nigeria right now. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians abroad that wouldn't dare step foot in that country. And when you ask them why, the first thing they say is just the insecurity is just too much. Me, I don't see it that way. Maybe just because I'm fortunate that in the places that I go to in Nigeria, in my domain, Akwa Ibom State, it's a very safe. Actually, one can argue that it's one of the safest, if not the safest state in Nigeria right now, is Akwa Ibom State, and everybody's going there. Because money doesn't like problems. Opportunity doesn't like problems. Money likes a safe place where it can grow. And Akwa Ibom State is providing that. I don't want to digress too much away from it, but I'm just telling you, in terms of reversing the logic, focus on what's working right now. The US AFRICOM, United States Africa Command, right now, sitting down, they're working with Nigeria on how best to address this insecurity issue, which I think China is also on board. I think the whole world is on board. They want this thing to go away because it's been happening for far too long. The economic impact alone, when you have a country of 36 states and only 50% of that is functioning, and the common denominator is this insecurity. Farmers can't go to their farms. People can't go to work. People are afraid to travel. When you look at the transit system in Nigeria, Nigeria literally has no road network. Here in the United States, I'll give you an example. At any given time of the day, you can feel safe and secure to get into your car and drive wherever you want to drive. I've experienced it because when I used to work on when I was on the road as a project manager in the middle of nowhere, and I'll have a 4:30 a.m. flight. The closest airport is 3 hours away. I'm telling you, I'm literally driving on the road at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to get to the airport so I can catch my flight. Can you dare try that in Nigeria? So I think we can all agree that we want this matter to go away. So in reversing the logic, focusing on what's working is everybody is on the table. Yes, there's emotions. People are saying this and they're saying that. Some are saying that it's a threat. Others are saying that the United States wants to invade. The United States doesn't benefit from invading Nigeria. Invading Nigeria for what? What does the US benefit from invading a state, a country that it considers a strategic partner? It's not as if Nigeria is a safe haven for terrorism. But that is what the United States of America wants to prevent. They say that prevention is better than cure because we've seen this before. The USA and the world, they don't want another 9/11. 9/11 was financed by Osama bin Laden for less than $500,000. Do you know how much it cost the US and the world on GWAT, the global war on terror? The global war on terror. Trillions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of lives lost. Militarily, some through collateral damage. So the United States is not trying to go back to 9/11. And part of the reason why it happened was those that masterminded and orchestrated 9/11, they had a safe haven. They had a safe country where they could go and sit down and plan. The Taliban gave them that. And pre 9/11, the majority of US intelligence they were largely reactive. CIA, NSC, all reactive. They have to wait for something to happen first, and then they react to it. Reactive. Post 9/11, when the Patriot Act was passed by Congress, the US started becoming more and more proactive. And for the past 25 years, the hunted has become the hunter. And that is why President Trump, said what he said. He, with the West, they are not trying to give terrorism a place to live, a place to breathe, a place to grow. It's one thing if a bird lands on your head, I can forgive you for that. But allowing the bird to nest on your head is another different story. So the United States is refusing. They're not going to do that. They're not going to allow any country on the face of this earth to harbor terrorism. They're not. And they've looked through the years. They've partnered with Nigeria, they've provided arms, they've provided support. And they feel, by they, I mean the US, they feel like they're not seeing gains. And that is what led to that post from Donald Trump, essentially promising that if Nigeria doesn't shape up, if Nigeria doesn't address the current terrorism issue, that the United States is going to take military action, guns ablazing. You guys saw the post on his Truth Social page. Let me tell you, Nigeria is important. Nigeria is an important partner because if Nigeria goes down, the entire African continent is going to be disrupted. Nigeria is important in the geopolitical landscape from an economic standpoint, business standpoint, investment standpoint. Nigeria is important. And I know some people are saying that Nigeria is a failed state. Nigeria is not a failed state. Some might disagree because of what's going on. If you want to look at a failed state, go to Somalia. That's a failed state. Nigeria is not. So that is why the US can't allow what is happening. And yes, the president chose to go the Christian genocide angle. But I've addressed this before that this isn't really a Christian Muslim matter. When this Islamic jihadist terrorist group, when they strike, they are not going around checking everybody's ID card, asking them if they are Christians or Muslim. They are literally destroying communities and killing people irrespective of their faith. So that is what the US is trying to prevent. And it's a little bit embarrassing too. We can't let Nigeria off the hook on this. So how many years is it going to take? How many people have to die? How many more we are losing soldiers left and right. These guys are killing people indiscriminately. They are shooting up police stations. They are ambushing our soldiers. And it's been ongoing for far too long in the eyes of the world. So Nigeria is a battleground. Not only is it a battleground for good, it's also a battleground for bad. Because if the terrorists were to take over Nigeria, they would then control the whole of Africa. So what is China's it's interesting because the Chinese and the US, they've always had like this love hate relationship. And it's one of those scenarios where can either country do without the other? Yes, the United States can largely do without China. And I'm confident China can also do without the US. But if they were to come together, they would do a lot better together than apart. That has always been the relationship between the US and China. It's always been like that. And it's always going to be like that because it's two different systems. The United States is pushing democracy, is pushing a free market system. The United States is a capitalist environment and a capitalist system. China is more of a is a commun is a is a communism. It's communism, not democracy. So it's a situation of it's a push pull relationship, and they both realize that they need each other. They are better off together than they are apart. That has always been the relationship between between the US and China. They need each other in one way or another. So, according to the MBS, now the US is the sixth top, when you look at the top 10 nations that Nigeria exports to, the United States ranks sixth on that list. China is just right under at seventh. Spain is number one. I think Canada even ranks higher than the US. So the United States buys more from Nigeria than China does. Very important partner for Nigeria. But Nigeria is also in a situation now where you've heard of the Chinese loans. Nigeria owes China $5 billion. They're actually on the table right now negotiating an extra 2 billion. That's going to push the Nigerian debt to China to $7 billion. So China has interest, serious interest in Nigeria. So they're looking at the US like, okay, how dare you just airdrop or parachuting out of nowhere and start talking about getting involved in Nigerian matters when we're the ones that's been loaning Nigeria money this entire time. And mind you, Nigeria has largely given China most of the mining rights to Nigerian national resources. That is the collateral behind all these loans, these Chinese loans. That's the collateral. I'm an investor, I'm a business person. I'm in real estate in Nigeria. The quarries, the granite quarries, the sand quarries in South Nigeria are owned by the Chinese. How did they get access? It's because of all the Chinese loans that Nigeria collects from China. That with history, as you know, Nigeria is a specialist at defaulting. And we're going to talk about this in next week's video. Nigeria is currently struggling right now, as they've always been, as far as like Nigerian contracts. They can't pay their bills, they can't pay outstanding invoices. There are a lot of people right now protesting. They want to get paid for work completed. And Nigeria has, man, the history of defaulting. Remember what happened 2 or 3 years ago when most of the international airlines pulled out of Nigeria for non-payments? This happened during Buhari's era. I think Emirates was one of them. They just Qatar Airlines. They stopped flying to Nigeria because they were not getting paid. And I believe it's President Tinubu that came in when he got elected, came into office. He was able to go look at all the books and he was able to settle a lot of these airlines, pay them off, and now they're back. And we also have to give President Tinubu some sort of credit too, because he inherited this problem. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We have to also see that he inherited this. He has only been in office less than 2 years. And quite frankly, if I am being honest, I like his administration. Tinubu's administration is not perfect, but Tinubu's reforms is, I've said this before, is pro diaspora. Tinubu is making a lot of diasporans wealthy. I'm one of them. Just the unification of the naira, the exchange rate alone made people stupid rich overnight. Because prior, it was all over the map. The dollar was 400 and something naira, 500 and something. He came in and then he unified it. And now the market dictates the exchange rate. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. I don't know what it is right now. I think as a matter of fact, let me search. Let you guys know what the current exchange rate is. But I'm sure it's like 14.50. It's a little bit Naira is a little bit strong right now, just because of the holidays is approaching. People are traveling to Nigeria. So right now it's 14.57. I use an app called Sendwave. That's the app that I use to send money to Nigeria. But it's going to go. The US dollar is going to gain. It usually happens like in Q1, January of next year. It's going to gain. Um, it's probably going to be up in the 1500, 1600s again in January. So if you don't have any need right now to send money to Nigeria for projects, hold off. And now is actually not even the time to be doing any sort of project in Nigeria because Christmas is coming. I usually advise people to wait until Q1. I'll be going to Nigeria in Q1 of 2026 to continue the construction project that I have going on in Akwa Ibom State. So, do you think China's warning, and do you even think it's warranted? Do you think it's a genuine support for Nigeria? Or do you think it's just a way to protect its multi-billion dollar interest in Nigerian mining infrastructure and energy projects across the country? Because here's the thing, guys. If the United States were to come in right now and be more influential in Nigerian affairs, it's going to threaten China's interest now. But that is not going to stop the United States, though. If China thinks by saying what they said, the US is going to back off, China is gravely mistaken because the United States is on a mission to wipe out terrorism globally. Some are more outspoken about it than others. It just so happened that Donald Trump is just one of those guys. And now most Republican senators, they are backing him. They are publicly, people who have never, don't even know how to spell Nigeria. Everybody is now talking about Nigeria, Senator Ted Cruz. Look, these are the reasons why you can't not take Donald Trump seriously. Let me explain why. Number one, he's the president of the most powerful nation on earth, the US. Don't let anybody fool you. Nobody comes close. Nobody. Economically, militarily, influentially, nobody comes close to the US. Don't let anybody lie to you. Donald Trump is the president. Number two, he is the commander in chief of the most powerful military on earth, the United States military. Donald Trump is the commander in chief. He controls all the aircraft carriers, meaning at any given point, at any given time, the US can strike anybody it wants at any time. That is number two. He commands the most prepared, the most well paid, the most well equipped, the most well trained military on the face of the earth. He's the commander in chief. That's number two. He controls. The US is a nuclear superpower. Are you guys following why I think you shouldn't take Donald Trump's post lightly? I'm not going to go as far as calling it a threat. Let's just, for the sake of neutrality, let's just say it's a post. Depending on who you ask, some people might call it a threat. Some people might call it a promise. I think it's a promise. I don't think it's a threat. Donald Trump has control of the US Senate. He has control. The Republicans control the US Senate. The Republicans also control the House of Representatives. I'm trying to paint a picture for you. Additionally, Donald Trump controls the US Supreme Court. Are you following? Not only did he win the election, he also won the popular vote. Oh, God. He also won the popular vote, meaning America is behind him. I think last election, 2016, he won the electoral college votes, which he won again, obviously, this 2024. But I think he lost the popular votes because more people voted for Hillary than Trump. Although what matters is the electoral college votes. But this go round, this 2024, he wiped out Kamala Harris in the electoral college vote, and he also won the popular vote. Everything that I've highlighted so far makes Donald Trump single-handedly the most powerful man in the universe. Why do you think Nigeria is scrambling to get on the table and have a conversation? Let's see how we can make this work. Why do you think Tinubu is prioritizing this partnership? It's not as if he's picking sides. Nigeria is not in the position right now to say fuck you to the US or to say fuck you to China. Nigeria is sandwiched right now. And he's got to figure out, or she's got to figure out a way not only to make the US happy, because the US supports China militarily, economically. That's why you saw Trump saying he's going to pull aid. Most Nigerian citizens, they don't even know what the aid that the US provides. The regular citizen doesn't know, but the US provides significant amount of aid, not just to Nigeria, but to the world. And when that aid is pulled or stopped, a lot of people die. It could be medical aid, economic aid. A lot of people are going to suffer. So we got to look at it from the US angle in the sense that everything that the United States is about right now is preventing a safe haven for terrorism to thrive. Nigeria is actually making gains. I think we can all agree that in 2025, is Boko Haram weaker in 2025 or stronger compared to 10 years ago? I think we can all agree that they've been largely weakened, but they just have not been wiped out. I don't know if you can necessarily completely, maybe you, I don't know, maybe you can completely wipe out terror, I don't know, but you can affect it. You can't afford to make them comfortable. You just can't. They always have to be looking over their shoulders. And that is actually the point of the US Afri Command in a region like Africa. It's a partnership between the United States military and African nations that want to participate. So I mean, I can speak on this because I'm ex-military. So the Afri Command doesn't necessarily go in and impose its will on nations. They basically say, we are available to you for resources, for training, and it's the host nation. Let's say if Nigeria, which Nigeria right now is actually on the table with AFRICOM. So let's say if Nigeria is interested in or they want help from US Africa Command, Nigeria has to then go to US Africa Command and say, this is what we need help with. And then Afri Command goes in and they consult. They don't pitch, I mean, they'll make recommendations, but it's generally the host nation that will tell them what they need. And based on intel, you see, just because the US doesn't have boots on the ground in Nigeria doesn't mean that they are not gathering intelligence. They have human assets. The CIA has human assets in Nigeria as I'm speaking. Whether it can be within the Nigerian government, it can be civilian assets, but the CIA, they have human assets right now that's advising the US leadership on terrorism activities in Nigeria and maybe other nations. So the US is active. It just sucks a little bit for Nigeria because they are sandwiched. And the only way that Nigeria can make, because what is the common denominator here is what? Insecurity. The only way Nigeria can make US happy and make China happy is to address the insecurity issue. That's the only way. Because they are indebted right now. $5 billion is what Nigeria owes China. So China they are deep. They are like eyes deep in Nigeria right now that they can't pull out. But I do find it a little bit worrisome, though, that the Chinese foreign ministry would take that route of almost, I mean, if you read deeper into it, it's basically warning the US to back off. So now Nigeria has to tell China, chill. With 50K was drafted. So I'm getting some situation right now in Nigeria. Let me tell you guys the story. This text message that I just got. Um, so I sent my team from Uyo to my homestead in Akwa Ibom State to go and pick up our livestock and transfer the livestock to Uyo so we can start getting ready and fattening them up to sell. So on their way from the village, they got into an accident. I think it's like a side swap. Some car hit the truck that has my team inside and the livestock in the trailer in the back of the truck. So they got into a little accident. The police were called to the scene. And typical Nigerian police. Do you know that they wanted to detain the cows, the cattle? When I heard that, I was like, what? Unless they got settled, they wanted to detain. And I'm like, how can the police come to the scene of an accident where nobody was injured? No ambulance was needed. It's a simple civil case. If both cars, Nigerian cars, are generally not insured, but it's a matter of driver, you move them off to the side, let them settle their differences. But then they're coming in and threatening to take my cattle, and that's Nigeria for you. And now he's texting me that they took his, in order for them to let the cattle go, they had to seize and confiscated my manager's ID card. Just be able to let the cattle go so the cattle can go and graze on our land. And now they are asking for 50,000 naira to release his ID card. And mind you, we leased this truck. My team wasn't driving, they were just passengers. So how are they involved? Shouldn't it be the two drivers handling this civil case or civil matter? This is part of the problem. When you have poorly funded law enforcement, maybe that's another thing too. These Chinese loans that Nigeria is getting, maybe we can use it to fund our law enforcement. Pay them better, house them better. Because it's not easy being on law enforcement in Nigeria today. A lot of these guys, they are not even making livable wages. A lot of Nigerian soldiers are not making livable wages. You've heard even judges, prosecutors, they don't have proper housing. They are not making livable. They're not. And that's probably what is contributing to somewhat to. I can probably tell you that is probably the main thing contributing to it. Is the poorly funded security apparatus in Nigeria. Is what is driving this insecurity. So maybe part of those Chinese loans can be used to fund our cops, fund our soldiers, pay them better, provide better medical care. So in closing, you know what happened. Trump said what he said. The Chinese are now telling the US to back off. The US is not. Nigeria is in a quandary right now. We are in the news for all of the wrong reasons. And the reason why I'm getting it is I want to go and address this matter with this guy. So which side do you think, as an investor, entrepreneur, or maybe just a normal Nigerian salt of the earth citizen, which side do you think offers better long-term opportunity for Nigeria? Is it the United States or China? My own answer is the US. I've already said it. But it's not about taking sides, guys. It's not about taking sides between the US and China. It's about strategy. It's about what is in the best interest of everybody. And I can tell you that the world, Nigerians as a whole, they are fed up of the insecurity. I'm telling you, as an entrepreneur, as an investor, it's affecting commerce. It's affecting the economy of Nigeria majorly. When we are largely operating as a 12-hour a day economy. When the sun goes up, Nigeria wakes up. When the sun goes down, Nigeria goes down. The Western world is a 24/7 economy. At any given time, if you've traveled abroad, 2 o'clock in the morning, you will see trucks. That's usually the time that they travel. Trucks that deliver the goods that me and you use every day. They usually move at night. Trailers, containers, they usually move at night when people are asleep. That's when they move. Can we dare try that in Nigeria? All right. Well, thank you for your time, guys. Happy Friday to you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and this content. Watch it over the weekend, share it, comment. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visit our website, mberiket.com, trusted US Nigeria business platform. We provide strategic intelligence, insights on cross-border trade, investments between the United States and Nigeria. We love both nations. We operate primarily in both nations, exclusively in both nations. That is our market, US, Nigeria. I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and thank you for inviting me to your homes and giving me your time. My name is Richard Barakat. It's time for me to go and enjoy my Friday. And I hope you do the same, guys. All right. All the best.